Hello everybody, this is lesson 1, Rec 250 online, summer session 1. So this is lesson 1. Please have your note packet available. We should only be working in section 1 of the note packet. Before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and give you the reading assignment. So this is lesson 1, this is Monday's class, June 1st. Reading assignment, and then you don't have to do the reading that particular day, but the reading will tally up, and then of course you'll see questions on your midterm. I'll do a review for the midterm, but that will be right before the actual test. So in your book, Effective Leadership in Adventure Programming, you have chapter 1. Okay, and you need to look over chapter 1. It's a short chapter. I'll tell you right now that the most important things to know in this chapter is going to be page 3 through 6, which is most of the chapter. But there's a set of principles in here that's good to know. So take a look at chapter 1 for this lesson. So chapter 1 is what you'll need to do. Okay, and do that at some point, and that should correspond with what I'm going to talk about today. In your note packet, if your note packet in front of you, you want to turn to page 1. And how to find the page number is looking at my chicken scratch there. There's a number with a circle around it in the center of the page. If you see another number, ignore that. Again, it's a note packet, so it's kind of loosely put together, but look in that note packet, page 1. And what you have on page 1 is a quote. And I'm going to spend some time talking about that quote as the first lesson here, and kind of open you up to the idea of what leadership is and what interpersonal skills are. So we'll go ahead and get started here. If you look at that quote, it says a well-trained and experienced facilitator. Now there's a facilitator. We're going to use that term in similar to leader. Okay, leader is more broad, but a facilitator is kind of how we'll be referring to leader in this class. So it says a well-trained and experienced facilitator can program for days with just his or her bare hands and a few props. The facilitator with technical training, the list of rules, or run out of, and it says challenge course elements, that really that just means activities in a day. And so you might be thinking, this doesn't make any sense to me. So we'll talk about it for a minute. What this is saying is that true leadership, the ability to motivate and influence people, okay, to lead them from point A to point B, whatever that is, and that's not a physical destination. That's an emotional, psychological, growth-based destination. For you to lead a group, or to lead a small group, or even just an individual, those leadership skills come from within. These leadership skills come from within. And interpersonal skills is the classification. Okay, skills that you develop, and skills that come from within. And let me give you an example of interpersonal skills. One skill that is important to have confidence. When you think, well, maybe I'm not that confident of a person. Well, that's okay. Your natural personality, or your temperament, is hardwired. Okay, you don't just change your personality overnight. Maybe you thought you did in middle school, but you don't do that. You really are who you are. I mean, you laugh at certain things, and you don't laugh at other things, and maybe you're more shy, maybe you're more outgoing, you're more introverted, you're more extroverted. Okay, you score a certain number and a certain letter on the Minnesota personality inventory assessment. Whatever it is, I mean, your personality is hardwired. That's who you are. Now, and every personality is different. They can be classified very similar, but there's minute differences, and you probably might not even be aware of how different you are from somebody who might seem like they have a similar personality. With your personality being hardwired, it's something that you can't change. But what you can change is the other side of what would lie, and I'll show you a model later that lies next to the personality, which is kind of this character realm. Okay, and character has been a buzzword for some years, but there's lots of things to call this character realm. It's part of you, okay, but it's the part that can be the most developed in terms of leadership. because there are people that are influential. And yes, maybe their personality may assist them with that and may lend them to being more influential than others. Okay? But every person is going to kind of have the Jekyll and Hyde personality conflict. You might think, oh gosh, that person over there, or I know this friend, are just natural leaders. They're so natural at it, okay? Yes, they may have some parts of their personality that really emphasize the leadership that they have on the character side. But I guarantee you that there are other parts of their personality, if not kept in check, can work directly against it. So don't feel like anybody is necessarily at an advantage. They're not. Both your personality is going to be a pro and a con when it comes to leadership. So back to the example, say, oh well, I'm just not that persuasive, or not that confident. I'm shy. Okay, so maybe you're slightly introverted, or maybe you're majorly introverted. I don't know, as part of your personality. But you can still have very effective leadership skills, and you can still have excellent confidence level. What hopefully maybe you'll learn in this class or throughout your leadership development is that you'll see how to put some control stops on that strong introversion for periods of time. Because we don't really not like to go outside of who we are to be a leader. You don't have to do that. But sometimes you got to put the reins on some things that might get in the way of you being an effective leader. So you've got some strong introversion in terms of part of your personality. That's not a problem. What you do is you develop the other side with the character realm, and what you do is you develop your confidence. And how you develop your confidence? There's lots of ways. One is being prepared. It's very difficult to be confident in a leadership position if you are not prepared to give the presentation, to talk about whatever it is you're selling, whatever it is you're doing in the leader position. You've got to be prepared. Now, the more prepared you are, the more you know your product, the more you know your program, the more you know the outline goals, the more confident you're going to be. Okay, and this is something you can control and something that you can develop. So that's one thing that would influence that character side of you, that character realm of you, where you can develop more confidence, and that will rein back some of that introversion. Okay. Now you might be say you're the outgoing extrovert type personality. That's great, and most people think that helps with leadership. It does. Okay, but it can certainly get in the way. You can be overwhelming. You can talk too much. You cannot allow people their space, their time to react to questions or to react to what you're leading them through. You're so quick to bounce through everything that you need to bounce through. You haven't given people the second that they need to do it. Okay, so every personality type does have a negative when it comes to leadership, as well as a positive. So in this class, we're looking at the character realm, the interpersonal realm. What skills do you need to develop, okay, to be an effective leader? And if I ask you right now, I say, okay, if you think, okay, if I'm going to put you on the stand, okay, and you got to lead a group through a couple activities, for example, and I've asked you to think about what is one thing that scares you. Chances are that in that character area, that's that interpersonal skill that needs the most development. So what scares you? Well, I don't know if I'll be able to communicate, speak their language, or be able to, communicate to them because, I don't know if because I don't know them that well, or maybe it would just be a lack of confidence. Maybe you would be some fear. Maybe you'd be afraid that they wouldn't like you, wouldn't laugh at your jokes. There's all these different things that may come up. So if you think about that, and I encourage you to do that now, think, what would be my biggest fear? What would be something that would really hold me back if I was all of a sudden thrown into a leadership position? Now, fear is probably not going to go away, okay? And a little bit of anxiety is good, okay? But a little bit. Okay, you can be very confident and very potent in your message and in your delivery, whether you're speaking to a crowd of 500 and it's just a 2-hour seminar, or you're working with a small group of 15 people for 2 weeks. The leadership skills, the interpersonal skills are the same. You're either working in confidence or you're not. You're either working in open and honest communication, very clear communication, or you're not. You're either prepared or you're not. Okay, so we'll look at those interpersonal skills. We'll talk about them. And back to this quote, what this Tom Leahy is saying here, and this is one of the top facilitators or team building facilitators in the country. What he's saying is that if you don't have a strong set of interpersonal skills to rely on, eventually you're going to run out of activities, you're going to run out of PowerPoint presentations, and it's just going to be you and the group. It's going to happen, and so developing your skills where you can think outside the box and you can be effective, even if you have to wing it a little bit, is what he's saying here. It's have a good set of interpersonal skills, and that's really how you're going to develop and become an effective leader. Okay, I'll be back with more info. Stay tuned.